Hi there, welcome, and thank you for being here. I hope you're having a gorgeous day or night. We're gonna dive in, get a little clarity, and see what messages would be helpful for you. This is a timeless reading. See what resonates. You'll know when it feels like you're reading, and if it doesn't feel like your message, it's for somebody else. Always trust that deep, divine, direct, and beautiful connection that you have to your higher self, to God, to source, the universe. The answer is always in you. And you make balanced decisions between logic and intuition. So your decisions are sound, based in love, and for the highest, greatest good of everybody. So we're all uplifted in love. Let's start with the vibe. See what the vibe is going on. Let's see what God, source, Holy Spirit, Christ, consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. What is the overall vibration in the collective's energy right now? This could be your energy. This could also be someone else around you or somebody thinking of you. Ooh, you got some karmic energy, but this did come through upside down. So for a lot of you, you've released a karmic cycle. Maybe even I hear awareness. Maybe there's somebody around you who has new awareness that there is a repeating pattern, or that there's somebody or a group or an environment or a mindset in somebody's life, whoever this is, that is not healthy anymore, that is not vibing with them anymore. It's somebody that's learned their lesson. I just heard somebody's not going to get over on them anymore. Maybe somebody took advantage of somebody, or did I see like something kind of underhanded, selfish motives. If there was any kind of repeat pattern or lower vibration, that is definitely being noticed and cut away, like released. I actually see it a very sharp ending, like, yeah, no, not going to happen kind of thing. It could be a third party situation that you or somebody else is dealing with. So it might be kind of a blend of transition. Maybe there's new energies or a new person or a new situation kind of entering in, and it feels like a soul pulling. It feels beautiful. It feels like sunshine. And I feel like now there's another energy that kind of feels off. It feels imbalanced. It feels like the wrong size shoe. So let's see. Why do we have karmics coming through first? What is going on, or what do we need to know about the karmic energy? Oh yeah, there's somebody with a lower vibration here. There's somebody who's a gossip. They make up shit they don't know about. They try to chime in and manipulate a situation to, I don't know, their own selfish purposes. There's somebody who's nosy in somebody else's business. They spread rumors. They don't know what they're really talking about. They latch onto hearsay. But I feel like it's somebody who's even a, I don't know why, I just heard a fire starter. Like, this could be somebody who enjoys the drama, actually like feeds off of the energy of drama. I feel like it is somebody who, if they don't have any drama, they sort of involve themselves in drama, or feel, I don't know, like maybe being the one that can pass the drama, or the one that knows the gossip makes them feel more important. But do be aware if there's somebody that's always kind of gossiping about somebody else, or always has opinions about somebody, especially if they don't know them directly, or have, the information directly from the horse's mouth. Even if it's directly from the horse's mouth and they're taking that information and spreading it around, it's like somebody's showing their own shade here. So I feel like it is awareness of that. Maybe it's just sort of stepping back, being the wallflower, seeing where someone's coming from. But I don't feel like this is a person that, maybe they've been put in their place here and there, but I kind of feel like this is more an energy of awareness coming through, so you can take yourself into a better place, not necessarily put somebody in their place. I feel like this person has their own karmic cycle and lesson to go through, or these people. And they're probably around other people that sort of feed off of that same weird, maybe jelly kind of energy. So if somebody has that jelly energy, a little lower vibration, this is somebody that should be putting all of that beautiful energy into themselves, into their own role they do or do not play in a situation. And also, I don't know, I feel like something is going to come back around and sort of, I hear like kind of bite, like a bite. That's what I see. I just actually thought of that Lorde song, like it's called like Teeth or something. So I feel like this person's karma is going to kind of come back and kind of bite them in the ass, but I don't feel like that has to involve you. I feel like you are more the observer, or you are somebody who's just observing something so you can quietly remove yourself. I also feel like I see that tea coming out of the kettle. So there may have been something that kind of steamed you up, kind of got you upset, but I don't think a reaction to that person, unless it's direct and you need to say something to someone. I'm neutral here. So if there is something you need to say and speak up, that someone is acting, inappropriately towards you, then speak up. But I feel like often somebody like this, if they are speaking up towards you or about you, it's because they want to see a reaction. So I feel like in some circumstances, maybe water off your back, kind of not giving a crap, not letting something ruffle your feathers or bother you, but you take your beautiful wings and you fly somewhere where it feels more free, where it feels more stable, where it feels more inviting, where it feels embracing. And, if you say something to someone, someone has authentic vibes with you. Like if you tell someone a secret, they see that that is a gift and they keep your secret. That if you open up to someone with authentic energy, it's someplace you feel safe, not where you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that thing. So just know if somebody is talking about everybody else's secrets, that might not be the person to tell your secret to. Let's get one more. I didn't expect weird energy to come out today, but weird energies happen in life, and this is coming through, so you have awareness of it and you can maneuver yourself around these weird energies before it gets weird, or it gets too weird, or you take yourself out of the weird. Maybe you do need to take yourself into isolation. Maybe if some of you are around people that are always kind of chiming in, like little birds chirping gossipy energy around you, or giving their opinion, or trying to like maneuver you a certain way, maybe you rejecting them is perfectly acceptable. It's also you taking yourself to where you can hear your own thoughts, where you can listen to your own insight and intuition, where you maybe have a better perception on the chaos or the drama that's going on because you are now outside of it. Being outside of it, now you can see something through, a different perception, a different viewpoint that really connects to the insight you are gifted. Because I feel like a lot of you, or whoever you are connecting to here, whoever this energy is gifted the insight that something wasn't right, that something was a red flag, that somebody was kind of shady, that somebody maybe had a smile on their face, but then there's something kind of off that's twisting your stomach. And it's almost like if somebody was purposely trying to twist somebody's stomach or twist somebody's mind, being in that area, in that home, in that environment, in that workplace, in that friend group, in that family, whatever it is, even I just saw somebody that's in the car having a weird conversation. Being there, it's almost like their energy's getting askewed and wonky, distorted is sort of what I see. And I feel like once somebody removes themselves from this, recognizes there was a cycle that is just repeating and is not feeling healthy, not feeling good. It's the wrong shoe size. I keep seeing that. It's like somebody grew out of an old situation. And if somebody was staying, wearing those pants that are now too big, it's like the pants fall down and now their ass is constantly exposed. But that's sort of what I see. I also feel like there might be somebody who is maybe left alone because of you, or somebody else leaving them because it's self-inflicted. I feel like that's somebody getting a little bite in the you-know-what that I saw. If somebody is creating this karma comes back around bigger. So it also comes back around. So somebody learns a lesson. Sometimes it's a harsh lesson, but it's an important one. So if there is somebody, I'm getting a little of that hermit energy. You know, if there was somebody who saw the best in someone, or you are always the one guiding someone, always trying to help someone, you have this beautiful inner light where you're like that lighthouse. You're always a storm. Come to the lighthouse here. Don't hit the rocks. But somebody constantly creates that storm or runs into the rocks. They're not noticing that light, or they're continuously relying on just that light. What if the lighthouse went out? Now somebody has to have that inner light to really navigate their own situation different. I'm sort of getting that tough ass teacher. Sometimes that hermit energy has to be wise enough to know when to not enable someone anymore and to turn that light off on purpose, even if they kind of are in the dark for a little bit, even if they go through a rough cycle or have to learn a lesson the hard way. That might be the only way for someone to learn a lesson, especially if there's anything here that is codependent, you know, where somebody is always really constantly relying on the other person to do everything for them. This is not someone who's going to learn to do something for themselves, that they have the capability of handling something, that they have the capability of navigating their own storm, that they can even be a calm inside of themselves if they maybe, I don't know why I see if they realize that the storm is within them all along. I feel like somebody has to find their own calm or learn their own lesson. There could be somebody who just rejected you as well. Maybe somebody rejected you because they were around weird-ass energies over here. Maybe you were put in isolation and really confused. If you were that lighthouse, you saw somebody else's storm, and you're not recognizing, why are you staying in the storm? Why don't you come up and, you know, have some dinner in the lighthouse here? It's kind of romantic. Or let's talk about a situation. I feel like somebody was maybe I see the undertow, almost like being pulled back into a situation, maybe because it's what they know. I totally just thought of the Sarah McLachlan song, which is really beautiful. I have a smile stretch from ear to ear. I see you walking by the light. We meet at the lights. I stare for a while. The world around us disappears. It's just you and me and my island of hope. The world around us could be miles. I'm getting the goosies. Let me surround you, a sea to your shore. Let me be the calm you seek. But every time I'm close to you, there's so much I can say, and you just walk away. So maybe somebody needed to express true emotions, or maybe somebody has I want to say like an outlet or an example or a place where it feels not like no man is an island, but this, I'm getting like a paradise. It just feels, I'm getting like Garden of Eden, paradise, warm, inviting, safe. And I feel like it's protected. Maybe there are words unsaid. That feels like deep words. It could also be there are words unsaid, just somebody that really needs to hear the harsh truth or a reality of somebody's, I heard movement. Ooh, there's a lot going on here. So I also see what feels right for you, because for some of you, this is you getting clarity on maybe somebody else's position. I keep hearing movement. Maybe somebody is in movement right now, or transition, or gaining new flexibility, or maneuvering, or moving different, taking different steps than their usual. I mean, if somebody wants something to change, that change has to start within, and steps have to start to be different than what was only keeping them in the same cycle, pretty much. So, wow, that was a lot of energy. I want to go big. Let's go to the universe. Usually I do this at the end, but I feel like we need a message. Let's get a message on karmic, sipping, and isolation. There's also something like the teddy bear. I'm getting multiple things. There's also somebody that might have kind of a hard exterior, but maybe they're kind of soft and like gushy inside, kind of like a teddy bear, like a really warm heart, even though maybe they have to put on a brave face or a stoic face. I'm also seeing that thing that you might be outgrowing. Because I just think of the teddy bear. That can be nostalgia. You know, when you're 5 years old, you want to hug that teddy bear. But at 25, I mean, maybe you hug the teddy bear at night to like align your back so you sleep good. But it's not the same kind of connection from when you were like a child. So maybe somebody is even kind of reflecting energies because of childhood wounds, or it could even be somebody in a cycle because they only know what they were taught, what society said, the experiences they had, or the people or places, experience that always surrounded them. If somebody wasn't branching out and expanding and wanting some different experiences, or recognizing their own internal growth throughout cycles of their life, they would stay with what they know or what seemed familiar. Because the unfamiliar, or what feels like a stretch, or feels like too big a transition, too many changes happening, can get scary. And not everybody is like a dive in the water, you know, do something different, really embrace transition kind of person. Some people, especially if there was instability as a child or in, you know, earlier years, if somebody feels like stability is there, even if it's uncomfortable, to dive back into where it could be unstable for a while to regain, you know, a new solid foundation and something new to build on. That transition feels so scary that sometimes people can latch on to what feels stable, even if it's uncomfortable. It's like staying in the uncomfortable zone that you or they or whoever this is knows. So these are kind of big energies coming through today. What is a message from the universe? Do I have my glasses? Yes. That's exactly what I said. I'm so glad I pulled this deck. When you hold on to the past, it stops you from living in the present. I saw all that nostalgia here. Even if this is just weird cycles you went through, you learn from this. That's why you can recognize patterns or red flags in the future and not do it the same way again. That's why you can also recognize when something feels so different and it feels like, you know, it just kind of warms your soul. Even if it's different and unusual, you can feel that energy now because you've experienced the dichotomy, the opposite of it. You know, unless you have that opposite experience, you don't always recognize what is better. When you hold on to the past, it stops you from living in the present. Release any old hurts, worries, regrets. Commit to being in the here, in the now. Forgive yourself for where you think you may have been wrong. You deserve inner peace. Let it go. You deserve to be in a peaceful environment. You deserve to have that beautiful, warm, fluffy peace within you. You deserve to be around people that you feel peaceful with, that you feel gratitude right now to have in your life. You deserve to have your own space where you know, love being in your own energy. You know, if there's someone that's always kind of in your space and you need space, you need to speak up that you need a little space. Because that space is important. That space is where you heal. That space is where you go internal. That space is where you turn on that inner lighthouse light of illumination. And that's where that new glow begins. So you have that light shining on in the present, the next step you can take or the current step that you are on. So let's go to the tarot. Actually, let's do this. I shuffled these, but I put them back. I kind of like pulling these like this because there's like a couple hundred cards here. So let's just maybe get you one. Well, maybe you're confused. If you are confused on anything, you're confused on why you took a certain step, or you're confused by somebody else. I feel like that's why you need a little bit of space to clear that confusion, to see where that confusion is coming from, to find that clarity within you. It could also be somebody, I'm kind of getting, there could also be someone that gave confusing advice because they're confused about their own life, their own situation. So how are they going to give, clear, I heard unapologetic, but I also heard total authentic. So I guess unconditional love advice to actually help someone. But I feel like if somebody is always giving their advice, maybe there's more clarity with somebody communing with God, with source, with their higher self than anyone else, because anybody that gives advice is only coming from their own perception, you know, their own viewpoint on something, their own experiences. I feel like sometimes the best advice is actually the open questions, or when somebody's not chiming in on an opinion, but actually maybe helping somebody see the different side of the coin, but leaving it completely open-ended for somebody to come up with their own conclusion, to come up with their own solution, revelation on something. Let's get one more. Oh yeah, this is definitely the energy coming through. Somebody, I mean, this is a really big deck of cards. Anything can come out in here. Somebody maybe didn't even recognize that somebody was playing mind games with them. Maybe they were just used to those kind of games. Or maybe that was your old situation. Maybe you recognize that you were constantly confused or making weird moves because somebody was trying to kind of manipulate an energy, manipulate your opinions, manipulate a situation. Maybe that's why isolation is important right now. I don't feel like you're gonna be confused about not wanting to play mind games. I also feel like there's a connection you have where, I mean, maybe you play Parcheesi, or maybe you play, you know, like chess with somebody and you keep somebody mentally stimulated, but I don't feel like you want to play games. I don't feel like you want to be messed around with. And this looks like the solution to the whole thing. Authenticity. In the future, being transparent, not holding something back when it's the truth of your soul. Also, that's a really, I will say, I'm allowed to show this on YouTube because she does have body paint on. There's nothing actually exposed, even though it is kind of sassy. So there's also something with your head illuminating. There's also something with the bath where it is a cleanse. There's also something where it's kind of like, you know, how the jellyfish has that breathing, that movement that they have. They are creating their own bioluminescence, their own illumination in the dark. There's also something where that jellyfish can catch the right current in the ocean and move along to a new position, a new place in the ocean, a new, I don't know why I actually saw a coral reef. Maybe it's coral. I don't know why I actually just thought of badfish. Interesting. Grab the reef underneath my bed. Ain't got no quarrels with God. Ain't got no time to grow old. Lord knows I'm weak. Won't somebody get me off of this reef? Baby, you're a big blue whale. Grab the reef when all duck diving fails. I don't know why I'm going on with this, but there must be something in here. I'd swim, but I wished I'd never learned. The water's too polluted with germs. I dive deep when it's 10 feet overhead. Grab the reef underneath my bed. So maybe something in those lyrics, maybe you just like Sublime. There's also something about being at peace with your past actions and having true self, I'm getting judgment energy, true self-awareness of what you want your future actions to be, taking action in the here and now, so you create the future you want. I feel a tickle in my throat. Hold on. Pause that exactly on 24, which brings you to a 6. So maybe it's coming back to balance involving love, your heart, a total cleanse of maybe old situations, or I hear revitalized into the new you. So let's go to the tarot. Let's see what's going on. Let's get some tarot messages. What would be helpful to know about confused, mind games, future transparency, being in the here and now, letting go of the past, isolation, rejection, sipping, rumors, gossipy, and karmics. What is, I keep hearing like flow. Go with the flow, change the flow. The tides are going to change. Maybe you need to flow differently. Maybe you always kind of went with the flow. I see kind of that energy, like someone going with the flow, but it was directing them towards, you know, when there's stale water, or like you go in the woods and there's a weird like puddle that's been there for a while and it has that like pond smell. You know, it has those leaves that just kind of are decomposing on top, and it's just not running. It's not like a babbling brook where it's like a constant cleanse. It's where it smells off. I'm getting that. Like maybe something smells funny. Something smells kind of like sour or rotting. That's a weird thing to see. But I feel like maybe something's going to come through, almost like a big hurricane of water. And if you were kind of stuck in that stagnant, this is a really weird word. I just heard like cesspool. Ew. Energies today. Like cesspool is something really just not ever being cleansed. I feel like something's going to come and at least give you that spiritual floaty, or move you along to get you to that beautiful babbling brook where you feel like you're like in the flow again. I know this is an extra message, but I just saw one of those. I know this is like, I am not a part of the brand, but I do have one. I think it's called Bug Rail. And actually that just reminded me of something. And it's like a water purifier. It's kind of like a thermos, but you can go anywhere in the world and kind of put the water in and you always have clean water. So there's something about the filter. But interesting, I just thought of Indiana Jones, because in the Grail one, when he's at the cliff and he's looking down across the cliff and does not know how to get across, he had to have faith. He had to have faith that if he took a step, that there was something right in front of him that caught him, that supported him, but it was completely camouflaged. He had to trust that faith in him, that something was going to catch him, that he was going to get across. He didn't know how, he didn't know, when or what it would be, but something caught him. And when they showed like the angle of the camera the different way, I'll put that link below, I'll find it. You could see that the rocks were there all along. The bridge across was right there, but it was so camouflaged like a chameleon amongst, the side of the other side of the cliff that you couldn't see it. He had to have faith. So there's something about taking a leap of faith, trusting that you will be gifted guidance. What, maybe also for some of you, it's getting a water purifier. Maybe it's looking at the pH balance in the water that you drink. Maybe it's drinking more water. I mean, if you don't have enough water, that can get the old brain a little confused, because you don't have we're made of liquid, so you need water for everything to flow properly. You have this beautiful queen, although we're going to go bass backwards first, because if that queen is upside down, then she's absolutely a gossip. She's someone who shines what she think is light onto somebody else's shade. If somebody is singing a song, I like this example. Someone's singing a song and they have a one weird note. They're not going to focus on how that person got through that note or the rest of the whole performance that was amazing. They're going to focus on that one note that person didn't hit, hoping it makes them look bad. This is somebody who definitely doesn't believe in themselves, who rides along with that gossipy energies. Is somebody who is kind of like competitive for the wrong reasons. Competitive because they don't have the confidence that maybe there's something better for them. This is somebody competitive to get something that they want, or maybe that they don't even really want, but they don't want someone else to have it. It's the green M&M person. It's the person that should be the star, that should ride that beautiful vibration of truth and inspiration to help others, to help everyone else shine. But instead, they go into very selfish motives, selfish means to get something. So they're like, oh, I'll sign up for that movie, but I'm only going to do it if you make 4,832 green M&Ms in my trailer every single day. Why? Because you want to feel more special, making some other person pick out that many green M&Ms for your special ass every day. It's just like, it's kind of selfish. There's like somebody trying to prove that they are really important. The opposite, the other way, the Queen of Wands is so sexy. She's so confident, even if she's a little strange, a little weird, even if she is not the best, even if she's the one behind the curtain, or I don't know why I keep seeing a movie. That's just an example I'm getting. If she is just an extra, she's so proud to be there. She wants to make friends with, you know, the people around her. She's still going to shine. She's going to be that extra in the crowd that somebody looks at. She's probably even the person that shines, that gets a starring role because of talking to the right person backstage or, you know, on the set. This is somebody who shines no matter where she is. This is somebody who doesn't necessarily want to be in the spotlight alone, although she can run a company. She can be the star of the show. She can be a one-man, one-woman band, but she feels so much more connected when she gets to shine a light on the beautiful attributes of the people that she knows, even if it's a stranger. She recognizes beauty and she speaks with confidence, because to uplift, to see somebody else shine, doesn't make her light any dimmer, any less special. It actually makes her light brighter because she recognizes the brightness and the beauty in everyone else. So this is telling you to have confidence. It's also telling you that whoever this is, whether this is you embodying this beautiful, you know, sexy, attractive, confident, expansive, creative kind of energy of the Queen of Wands, that it's knowing when to be the pursuer, because she can pursue, she can act, she can handle something. But it's also knowing when you need to sit back and let something just be attracted to you. It's also sitting back and observing, at seeing, if you are such a bright light, you might attract some beautiful butterflies, some birds, some hummingbirds, and some weird moths. Maybe some shadows are also attracted to you. Hopefully anything lower that it's attracted to her will maybe be inspired to gain confidence to turn on their own beautiful light, or recognize how beautiful their light is. But if there's weird vibes, she has to have the strength to be like, you know, Queen of Wands here, you need to move along your way. You don't need to be in my energy. Thank you, goodbye. She's confident enough to speak up. You know, it's a quiet confidence. She's not always the loudest in the room, but she's the one that walks in a room and all heads turn. And it's also recognizing when there's something that's just vibing with her, you know, drawn to her, beautiful light. And there's this, I'm getting complementary colors, you know, purple and yellow are totally different, but for some reason, each pop more by being next to each other. So even if somebody's totally different, she recognizes that there's something that can be complementary with different energies, but the right energies. It's still the same like wave of vibration frequency, even if it's a different height, different depth. I hope that made sense, because colors have different bandwidths, you know, in their frequency. So I am getting there's something about harmony. So if somebody is maybe a totally different note, that different note coming into the mix, into the orchestration, into the song, creates more depth to a song than a whole choir all singing one note. You know, 50 people all singing happy birthday all together. With this energy over here, it's like 50 people singing happy birthday and they all think they're on the same note and they're all tone deaf. When she is upright, you have the most amazing choir of angelic voices together that is so beautiful that your entire body tingles. All right, let's get one more. Interesting messages. Let's ask about the Queen. So it could be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or just somebody kind of fiery in nature. This could also be somebody that suddenly has a little fire in their ass to move themselves in a different direction. Fire in their ass to see what they have allowed, or maybe things that they have pursued that were maybe their old self, but no longer that right shoe size anymore. This is somebody who's also seeing that today is the day to take actions to create change, because the Queen of Wands wants change. She doesn't want to sit on that throne forever. She gets too itchy, you know? That light starts to make her throne a little too hot, and she eventually has to get up. I actually see her, I actually just saw her diving into the ocean. So maybe it's having the confidence to express emotion. Maybe it's recognizing, I like these two together actually, because she's the queen that would look at somebody that has potential and give them the opportunity to gain confidence via experience. It could also be if somebody is coming in towards this queen with only a little pages energy, you know, a little bit of fire, a little inspiration, but they don't have follow through. I don't feel like that person has the maturing yet to be a counterpart to this queen, because this is somebody that has a lot of inspiration, but then they kind of, it's short-lived. You know, they start a project, but then they get sidetracked, or they start something and then they lose their confidence and don't think that they are capable of handling something. I feel like this queen is inspiring whoever this is, that they're not actually a page, that they're maybe a king or a queen or an emperor or an empress, or, you know, the Hierophant or the High Priestess. This is somebody recognizing that maybe somebody didn't believe in themselves enough. Maybe she's offering a chance for someone to be in experience, because that comes after the page, after the message, after the texting, you know, after a conversation, to have more experiences to see that the light she saw in them was in them all along. It could also be somebody just has a sassy text for you. Like they have, or they have, you know, they're sending through a message that maybe they have a little bit of confidence. They're a little bit, you know, unsure inside, but they're showing confidence. But it's somebody excited, enthusiastic, like they want the experience, even if it feels really different. They want to grow. They want to be better. Maybe it's somebody who sends a little, you know, message that inspires. Maybe she sends a message of inspiration that just kind of lights a little fire under someone's ass to get that rod in them, and, you know, that rod of support to get them on this journey past that dry desert into some place where maybe there's that garden of growth and opportunity, because that sunflower follows the sunshine, and this night knows how to tend a garden. This night knows how to, if something was short-lived, in and out, fizzled away too fast, this is someone that's getting back on the saddle and recognizing there has to be follow-through. That today you look at that garden, that beautiful offer of something tangible that you can hold, people, places, things, and experiences you can touch. You can feel that your feet are in the mud in that garden, your hands are in the soil planting that seed, that you recognize going up at that, in that garden, in that relationship, in that new experience, whatever it is, that maybe something was, you know, a little too dry for too long, so you drag that garden hose out there. This knight knows how to like kick that horse into gear and really gallop fast if need be. Play catch up, you know, really dive into something. This knight also knows when to get off that horse when he or she is too tired, and that experience needs a little bit of a pause, a little bit of time to smell the roses, to really observe the situation and to recalibrate something if need be. It's adjustment with this knight. They might not get to the end the fastest, but they're going to learn the most along the way. They're going to be the most grounded along the way. This is somebody logical, realistic, grounded, relatable, sensual, because it's connected to earth. This knight knows how to make something grow as long as that seed is planted in the right foundation, in the right soil, as long as the experiences are attended to and experienced. It looks like somebody here is looking out into a new world. They're still behind this wall here. Somebody needs to get behind the fence, get behind the wall, start to go out into that expansive area that they've been dreaming about, holding sort of in their hands. But it's like they have the map, they have the plans, they have the ideas, they have the dreams, but you have to look beyond the, what is that? Like the pamphlet, you know, when you see a place you want to go see in the world and you're looking at it online or you're looking at it in the book, is nothing like stepping off the plane, putting your feet on the earth and feeling that actual energy of that place. or the actual experience of what it would be like in a different partnership or in a different work environment, or be working on something different. Even if this is a new idea of something you want to start as a project, maybe you have to go back to the beginning, start as the newbie. You're going to learn along the way. You're going to get better every time you do something. But you got to get beyond the wall. You got to leave the comfort zone. You have to book the ticket. You have to give something a go. This could also be a passionate partnership, a business partnership with those two flames, those two rods. This could be somebody playing catch up because you have that one rod bolted to the side. So why is it bolted there? It looks like this person has their support. They have their map. They have their ideas. They just have to take a step, you know, beyond where they were stuck. Be outside of the comfort zone. Get outside the castle already and go see what it's like out there in the big, bold, beautiful, amazing world. Maybe there's somebody that's going to come along. They're waiting for somebody to catch up to that wall and, you know, go on that journey with them. Maybe this is somebody that is leaving somebody else, giving them this inspiration and their own support system. Somebody has to be willing to take a hold of their own rod, and maybe they have to gain stability in their own solid foundation first, who they are first, independently first, turning that light on that I saw with that hermit energy before they are ready to expand their world and go beyond the kingdom. Maybe this is one person leaving first, going on their own journey, and maybe somebody else is not coming along, but getting to, in the meantime, figure out what their next plan is and maybe what they want for the world of possibilities in their life. Here, having the desire and never going, never booking the ticket, never seeing what it's like 1 foot outside that wall or outside of the comfort zone. Getting disheartened if something didn't work out on the first try because there weren't enough experiences put into something. I feel like somebody's gaining a little, but you got a lot of fire here, and you have something tangible and real. So somebody has a lot of spirit to move, to change, to grow, to expand, to leave something, to go to something, to, I just heard invest in the right person. I actually heard person, but for some of you, maybe that person is oneself. You know, the two is a decision. One decision can change your whole life. Maybe it's one decision you're making today. So, wow, that was a lot. I'm going to get one more. I want to get one more message, but I'm not sure what. Maybe this one. This one's kind of a little weird. Pre-weird morning. I haven't used this in a long time. Messages are kind of unusual, but I don't know why. This one's kind of twinkling. So let's end with an affirmation of love and relationships. What is one affirmation card? It's called the Affirminators. It sounds like the Terminator. Maybe you like the Terminator. I haven't seen any of those new ones. I just remember the one with the kid with the hair and the girl doing the badass pull-ups. All right, let's see. What do we have? Pleasure. Yeah. Look at it, it's a bathtub. So you got a little, I'm going to cover her, like, you know, even though she has body paint on her boobs, just via YouTube, do that. You know, you got some bubble bath pleasure coming in. Oh, you have two. All right, here we go. I give myself permission to feel pleasure, and I let pleasure rush into my life in a decadent display of over-the-top abundance. Then I realized that pleasure has been waiting at my door, for a long time. Maybe it's been standing there. You just had to open that door. It's like, I'm not going to really knock, but I told you I'd be out here. Do you want to open the door and, you know, have an experience? It's just that pleasure doesn't knock on doors because loud noises aren't super pleasant. Interesting. This is somebody that's maybe has an offer, or this is a situation where it's not necessarily somebody that needs to be the loudest in the room to be the most pleasurable. Also, look at, there's like a little glass of, you got somebody serving you wine. You have like little bubbles playing the violin for you. But maybe, hopefully they're playing that violin in tune. All right, one more. Benefit of the doubt. I believe in the basic goodness of other people, and I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, I like this. Yeah. It's like, because, you know, you have somebody here. I do feel like somebody, whoever's dealing with all that weird energy, has a good heart. I don't think they wanted to, you know, be manipulated or be constantly confused or be in mind games or be stuck behind that castle wall, feeling like, you know, they never get to expand their garden or their kingdom, or constantly losing confidence on effort put in. I feel like somebody gave somebody maybe too many chances, or kept seeing that light in somebody, but somebody, if they show you who they are, you believe them. You know, it's not fixing somebody. It's allowing somebody to grow in their own timing. I give them the chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go on sleeping knowing I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear or doubt. And later on, if I need to, I can always change my mind and retroactively judge them like it's my career. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean, you know, you're seeing anything through your own eyes. So if you have a judgmental energy, I think it's still through the eyes of love. It's more like recognizing that I don't know. I feel like it's almost, I want to say you almost feel bad for someone that they're not getting a lesson, or they're not learning something, or they're not getting it. So I don't feel like you're pushing that judgment on somebody, but it's more like you observing somebody in that judgmental energy puts your own judgment on yourself, on your own actions. And maybe for some of you, it's even learning from somebody else's mistakes, which is kind of powerful. And with that, I bid you adieu. I love you so much. I got to get going. I look forward to seeing you soon. And I feel so blessed to get to be here with you. Thank you for blessing my life. I love you so much. Bye.